Hello everyone. Good day. I am Maria Luis Manco and I will be discussing about the story Animal Farm by George Orwell. So before we start, I have some questions to ask you. So, do you have pets at home? Or are you fond of animals? Or are you concerned about the political issues we have today? So, in connection to our story today, Animal Farm is about the story of an animals who had been rebellious to their owner. So we will be discussing about it later. But first, let us talk about the context or the context or the flow of our discussion for today. First is the author's background. Next is time written. Then the summary, the characters, themes, and lastly the activity. First, about that author's background. So George Orwell was born in 1903 in India and later moved to England, shaping his worldview. Orwell's career spanned novels, essays, and journalism with a focus on social issues. So George Orwell's stories or works are more focused on social issues or political issues that he've encountered or experienced. So next is he's best known for the story 1984 and the story Animal Farm, which critiques the totalitarian regimes. So when we say totalitarian regimes, it is a form of government that wants to take control over its citizens or over the people that doesn't even that doesn't take any oppositions or doesn't accept others' opinion but rather themselves or kanang wala in vernacular these people ang kaning mga tao kay murag pamayng-may pa sa ato ba kay kanang di sila maminaw sa opinion sa uban kay ilaha ra gid ang masunod. So in totalitarian regime or the totalitarianism is about the government that wants to take control of the people that doesn't kanang dili sila mag take sa people's ideas or opinions. So next is his contributions to literature and political thought continue to influence modern discourse. So of course, like today, we are still discussing about his works which influence us or all the readers in today's era. Next is his political views. So Orwell's writing reflects his opposition to oppressive governments and support for individual rights. So during his time, it was about the totalitarianism and the Stalinians, if I'm not mistaken, Stalinism, which is about, like I've said earlier, about taking control of the people. And he is, what do you call it? Kanang dili gid siya against gid si ani, and his works is about supporting individual rights. So for next we will be talking about the time written. So Animal Farm was published in 1945, marking a significant period in literary history. So it is after the Second World War, which is really significant in today's era because we will know what happened during that time and what he experienced that will impact in today's in today's modern era. Next is the novel serves as satirical allegory, critiquing the nature of power and governance. So when we say satirical, it is about mockery or making fun of something in a fun way or in a funny way, While allegory has while allegory has deeper meaning or hidden meaning. So when we say satirical allegory, it is about it is kinda mocking something in a fun way with deeper meaning. So that's what is satirical allegory. Next, it is in the Soviet totalitarianism. So it reflects the author's views in Soviet totalitarianism and it's oppressive in nature. So when we say oppressive, it is it is against something or tyranny, and it is reflected in this story. So next is the corruption of ideas. So Orwell's disillusionment means um, disappointment. Disillusionment means disappointment with the socialist ideas during Stalin's regime is a central theme. So socialist is a government that is like a totalitarianism that wants to take control over the people. That is the socialist ideas. Um, Stalin's regime or Stalin's regime is the Stalin is the one who proposes the totalitarianism or who governs during the totalitarianism. So for the summary, um we will be watching a videos together, and after that I will be supplementing it so that you can understand it further.
Welcome to Manor Farm. But perhaps you might not be so welcome. The animals are fed up with humans, especially the lazy, alcoholic owner of the farm, Mr. Jones. One night, Mr. Jones's prize boar, Old Major, summons the animals together to share an important message. They have all suffered for too long. He offers the animals a vision of the future without the tyranny of man. No more whips, exhaustion or starvation. To achieve this, they must work together as comrades to overthrow the human race. He teaches the animals the anthem Beasts of England and commands them to shun man's evil ways. A few days later, Old Major passes away peacefully. In the months that follow, the animals prepare for rebellion. The pigs, who are now literate, have turned Old Major's teachings into a new system of thought called animalism. They work hard to teach animalism to the other animals. Most get it, but some struggle. Moses and his stories about the afterlife on Sugar Candy Mountain don't help at all. The day of the rebellion comes sooner than expected. One day, Mr. Jones and his men forget to feed the animals. By nightfall, the animals are starving and furious, so they break into the store shed and help themselves to the grain. That's fair, don't you think? But Mr. Jones and his men bear down on the animals with whips. This is the last straw. The animals respond violently, causing every human on Manor Farm to flee for their lives. Even Moses flaps off. Hooray!
People say that the world is a huge detour, and the workplace is the most torturous part of this detour. Weekly reports, monthly reports, endless.
Hooray! The animals take control of the farm, turn the farmhouse into a museum, and rename the farm Animal Farm. Snowball, one of the two cleverest pigs, inscribes the 7 commandments of animalism on the barn. Not that many animals can read it, though, except old Benjamin, the cynical donkey. Then it's time to get to work. There's a farm to run. But before the harvest gets underway, the pigs milk the cows. Unfortunately, all the creamy, frothy milk disappears before the other animals can get a taste. What's that all about? Since they're the smart ones, the pigs supervise the harvest. But the real champion of the farm is Boxer the cart horse, who lives by his motto, I will work harder. Sunday meetings are held to discuss plans for the farm. The two alpha pigs, Napoleon and Snowball, lead the debates, although they often disagree. Trouble in paradise already, boys?
Soon, the pigs set up their headquarters in the harness room.
They also write a basic version of the 7 Commandments for the simpler souls. The sheep appreciate this immensely. When 9 puppies are born, Napoleon takes on the role of their sole guardian. How selfless of him. Meanwhile, the mystery of the missing milk is solved. According to scientific proof, the pigs need all the milk and apples to maintain their health. The future of Animal Farm depends on it. You don't want Mr. Jones to come back, do you? News of the rebellion spreads across the countryside. Soon animals everywhere are singing Beasts of England, and it's driving the humans nuts. When Mr. Jones storms the farm and tries to take back control, the animals are ready for him. Snowball leads a coordinated attack, and the men are defeated. Victory! This glorious day will forever be known as the Battle of the Cowshed. The following winter, Snowball proposes that they build a windmill. Napoleon is against it and piddles all over Snowball's detailed plans. Gross. When it comes time for the animals to vote on it, Napoleon has the last word. He summons 9 ferocious dogs to attack Snowball, who barely escapes the farm with his life. Hey, are those Jessie and Bluebell's puppies? Yep, they're Napoleon's enforcers now. Well played, Napoleon. Snowball is never seen again, and the Sunday meetings are abolished. From now on, there will be no more debates. The pigs will decide what's best for the farm and give orders to the animals during Sunday assemblies. Welcome to the new normal, comrades. 3 weeks later, Napoleon announces that the windmill will go ahead. Apparently, it was his idea all along, but Snowball had tried to take the credit. That villain. Gosh, that windmill is hard work. It's a good thing they have Boxer. Bless him. He's like 3 horses in one. He'd better not overdo it. When the farm runs short on supplies, Napoleon starts to trade with the humans to raise money. Hey, didn't Old Major forbid dealings with humans? Napoleon gets around this by employing a lawyer, Mr. Whymper, to act as the go-between. Seems legit. By now, the humans have started to vaguely respect Animal Farm and withdrawn their support of Mr. Jones, who's moved away. Napoleon is also in trade talks with one of the neighbours. It's just never clear which one. One day, the pigs move into the farmhouse. A minor adjustment to the 4th commandment gets them around the rules against this. Or maybe that commandment always read that way? It's hard to remember. A few months later, a violent storm pulverises the windmill. All their hard work gone with the wind. But Napoleon sniffs out sabotage. This is all Snowball's doing. Death to Snowball! Napoleon puts a bounty on Snowball's head and orders the animals to rebuild the windmill. Forward, comrades! When a food shortage threatens the entire farm, Napoleon orders increased food production for trade. When the hens rebel against the punishing new egg quota, 9 of them lose their lives. Back to your boxes, ladies. In other news, it turns out that Snowball has sold himself to Mr. Frederick of Pinchfield Farm. What's worse, he was in league with Mr. Jones from the beginning, even during the Battle of the Cowshed. Wait, wasn't Snowball injured in that battle? Didn't he receive a medal? When Boxer raises these questions, Squealer assures him that Napoleon is always right. Watch out, big guy. A few days later, Napoleon starts publicly executing Snowball's alleged conspirators. It's execution by dog attack, and the only animal to survive is Boxer, thanks to his giant iron hooves. Boxer An agent of Snowball? Surely not. Surely old Major forbid this, didn't he? Maybe we misread the 6th commandment. No animal shall kill another animal without cause. It's a good thing the pigs wrote out the commandments for us. What a capable leader Comrade Napoleon is. It's time he got the recognition he deserves. Minimus writes a poem in his honour. His portrait is painted, his security detail is beefed up, and the windmill, when it's finally completed, is named Napoleon Mill. What a triumph! When Napoleon strikes a surprise deal with Mr. Frederick, it's revealed that Snowball has been hiding out on Mr. Pilkington's farm for years. That Pilkington is a scoundrel. Except Mr. Frederick then cheats Napoleon with forged banknotes and invades Animal Farm. A deadly battle is fought in which animals die and the windmill is blown to smithereens. Dear dog, not again.
The animals narrowly defeat the humans in what becomes known as the Battle of the Windmill.
Napoleon is awarded another medal, and the pigs enjoy a whiskey bender in the farmhouse. After he recovers from a filthy hangover, Napoleon orders manuals on how to brew alcohol. And that's all fine because the 5th commandment actually reads, "No animal shall drink alcohol to excess." Gosh, aren't we forgetful? The following winter is a bitter one, and the animals suffer the cold with empty bellies. But Squealer reminds them that their quality of life is better than ever. Phew! Except their rations need to be readjusted so the pigs can afford supplies, including luxury items and beer. Cheers! Then, wonderful news! Napoleon is unanimously elected president of Animal Farm. Congrats, Napoleon! But real heartbreak lurks around the corner. One evening, Boxer, the farm's most dedicated comrade, collapses in the field. When the pigs organise a van to pick him up, it's not from the vets. Boxer is sold to slaughter. That is, unless you believe Squealer. According to him, the vets recently bought that van and hadn't repainted it yet. Whatever you say, Squealer. Years pass. Animal Farm expands and becomes better organised. The windmill is functioning well, but it's used to mill corn for profit, not make electricity for the animals' ease and comfort. Few animals now remember the rebellion, Snowball or Boxer, but they all retain pride in the farm and faith in old Major's vision. All except Benjamin. He's seen too much in his time. One day, Clover raises the alarm. The pigs are walking on their hind legs. Napoleon is carrying a whip. The sheep have a new song, and the 7 commandments have now become one. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. From then on, all the pigs carry whips, dress in human clothing, and use human gadgets. When the pigs invite the neighbouring farmers to tour Animal Farm, their dinner is a raucous affair. When the animals peep through the farmhouse window, they witness the pigs and men raising a toast to their new friendship. In a brief speech, Napoleon announces some changes, including the renaming of the farm to the Manor Farm. Hang on, isn't that similar to its original name? Can anyone remember? As the animals look on, they witness a chilling transformation. The faces morph until it's impossible to tell who's a pig and who's a man. Oh, the horror! We wish we could say that all the animals lived happily ever after, just as old Major imagined. But this isn't that kind of story. In fact, we suggest you check your modern history books, because Animal Farm isn't really...
So that was the summary of the story, Animal Farm. So I will supplement that. I will supplement that to further understanding. So it is a sad story, no? It is really a sad story. A while. So now, to supplement the video that we watched, for we will be discussing about it. So the story started about the meeting of the animal that is held by Old Major when the drunk Mr. Jones was fast asleep. So Old Major discussed that in order for them to be free and equal, they should rebel to the people to have the equal right. So here, the first in the beginning, it is all about the animal rebellion. So the animals unite to overthrow their oppressive human farmer, seeking a better life. So it is because Mr. Jones feed them, do not feed them well, and they hurt him out. He hurt them. He hurt the animals and overworked them. So next is about the rise of the pigs. It is about the rise of the pigs. So after rebellion, pigs emerge as leaders, gradually accumulating power and control. So during this time, after the rebellious act, the pigs, who is more literate than the other animals, take control over the farm or becomes the leader of the farm. Then the corruption of ideals emerge. So the initial ideals of equality and freedom are corrupted as the pigs become increasingly tyrannical, tyrannical means the abuse of power. Power. So during this time, it is about the two pigs who is kanang nagkontra bitaw to lead the farm. However, because of Napoleon's misdeeds, or because kay kanang si Napoleon kay grabe gid siya ka makasarili ba? Grabe kay siya makasarili mo iyang gi-frame. So he framed Snowball that leads to Snowball's excel to the farm. He used the canines or the dogs to make to make Snowball kanang papahawang si Snowball sa farm. So during that time, Napoleon is being propagandist. He betrays that he manipulates the animals, and he manipulates and gaslights the animals during his era. So next is the allegory of the Soviet Union. So the story serves as the allegory for the rise of the Soviet Union and the betrayal of revolutionary ideals. So in the story, just like what Napoleon did, he betrays their ideals of the revolutionary. He kanang iyang gipang usab ang rules nga gihatag ni Old Major, until nga mura na gid sila nahimog tao because of their makasarili nga because of their selfish acts. Uto na kuan gyud ilahang rebellions, imbes nga happy ending naabot noon sila, og mura gid sila nabalik sa first nga ilang na encounter kay Mr. Jones. So this last is the betrayal of trust. So the animals' trust in the pigs leads to their exploitation and the establishment of dictatorial regime. So at the end, so the animals nakit-an gid nila nga giun sa sila pag kuan ni Napoleon ba gyud sa sila pag manipulate. Kay nakita nila dito nga kanang si ni morph daw ang pigs into humans that dili na gid sila makaila kung kinsay pig ug kinsay human. Because of what the because of what the pigs did to them. Kanang uh, they they abuse their innocence. They abuse their innocence to their own benefit. So luigid kay ang animals too. And we can reflect it also in reality where some people manipulates others for their own benefit, you know. Maybe some of you experience it, and no, it's sad. It's sad. So next, we'll be talking about the characters of the story, but I will be focusing more on the major characters. First, we have Napoleon. It represents Stalin. As I've said earlier, Stalin is he is an example of an president of a totalitarianism where he takes control over the people or over all or take control of the citizens. So it embodies tyranny and authoritarian rule. So I've said earlier, tyranny is abuse of power. So next is Snowball. So Snowball symbolizes Trotsky, an idealistic leader who is ultimately outstated. So Trotsky is kanang the opponent of Stalin during their era. So Trotsky, which is kanang dapat gid unta ma leader, or kanang we could see him as kanang a true leader, but kanang na-outstated or kanang wala gid siya kadaog because of the manipulation of the other opponent. So next, we have Boxer. He represents the working class, like loyal, hardworking, yet naive. So some people kay kanang tungod sa ilang ka-loyal kay dili na nila makita ang kabati sa ilahang leader. Dili na makita nila ang kabati sa pagpamamalakad gid ang government or sa ilahang working place because of this their loyalty and hard work. So next is Quiller, the manipulative propagandist who twists truths to control others. So Squealer is the spokesperson kumbaga ni Napoleon, which kanang iyang ipang-usbon ang mga storya to make Napoleon the good person. Siya si Squealer, manipulative, gaslighter, and propagandist is someone who manipulates the truth or kanang usbon ang mga storya to become usbon ang mga storya to control others. Yun na siya. So last is the Old Major. So the visionary leader who inspires the rebellion against oppression. So si Old Major sa atoa kay murag siya si God sa atoa. Ay dili God. We could say God because siya ang gisundan sa mga animals. However, because of the manipulation of Napoleon, kanang murag nawa na gid nila ang kanang pag-trust sa andili trust. Murag nawa na nila si Old Major because of Napoleon's misdeeds. So now we will be discussing about the themes. So first, the dangers of totalitarianism. So Orwell warns about the dangers of the totalitarian regimes, emphasizing the loss of personal freedom and autonomy. So just like what happened in the story, or just like what happened to the animals in the story, they were kanang gikwaan sila freedom and autonomy. So autonomy means the self-governance or kanang or self self-ruling, ruling of oneself muna siya kanang murag atuang yung kaugalingon nga kuan ba, atong kaugalingon nga pag, so pareha sa nahitabo sa animals in the farm where they were gikuhaan silang freedom by Napoleon through his manipulative moves and his gaslighting. No na siya one of the themes in the story. Next is the corruption of socialist ideals. So the narrative illustrates how power can corrupt the original socialist goal, leading to a betrayal of revolution. Socialist originally is about governing or being about being a leader to the people. However, because of their abuse of power, the socialist goals was kanang na overuse, which leads to the totally which leads to kanang manipulation of others and leading to the betrayal of the revolution. Pareha gyapon sa nahitabo sa animals in the story. Then next is the power of propaganda. So the use of propaganda is highlighted as a tool for manipulation and control, shaping its perceptions and reality. We could say nga propagandist si Sequel because he manipulates his the truths that kanang murag ma-perceive sa mga animals o murag mo trusted ang animals sa iyang gisulti. That is propaganda. Sequel is a propagandist. So that is also what is emphasized in the story. How how powerful is propaganda. And we should trust, or we should always check the truth before trusting anyone, especially in the internet today. So next, we will be discussing about the cultural context. So it is about the critique of Russian Revolution. So the novel examines the flaws in Russian Revolution, showcasing how noble ideas were compromised. So wala din ako siya na mention ganina, but it is during the publication of this this story, it is during the Russian Revolution. So mo to siya, that's why the story is about kanang freedom or manipulation of power, because that is what the Russian Revolution, that is what happened during the Russian Revolution. So next, it is the Stalin's regime. As I've said earlier, Stalin is a president, was once a president who wants to take control all over the citizens. So Orwell criticizes Stalin's leadership, illustrating the authoritarianism that emerged after the revolution. So, moto siya ang gipakita po sa story earlier that how the abuse of power can lead to. Next is the betrayal of ideals. So the story reflects Orwell's disappointment in the betrayal of the original revolutionary goals, highlighting the disillusionment. So yes, he highlighted how disappointed the animals were when they discovered what Napoleon did to them. So musa na siya ang na-reflect sa story. So next is the political commentary. So through allegory, Orwell provides insight into the nature of power, corruption, and propaganda. So it is also reflected in the story, or if we read thoroughly in the story, we could kanang makita gid nato og makarelate pud ta in today kung unsa nila pag-abuse sa power and the corruption and the propaganda. So we should always check the uh legitimate if legit ba jud ang store if legit ba jud ang information yung give, especially if we are reading in online or in social media. Please check gyud usa. And as the kanang happy to gyud ang voting, but please gyud guys, we should vote wisely gyud. We should not vote the idiots kay we will suffer more as we are suffering today. So please gyud, please. So next relevance today. So the themes of Animal Farm resonates with contemporary decisions about power and governance. Please, good guys, as I've said, it is in our hands, good. The Philippines is in our hands. So please vote who is deserving to lead us. So that would be all for today, and thank you so much for listening. I hope you understand. So, oh, I almost forgot. We also have the quiz. Please, please DM me your answers. Please DM me your answers. So, and I will be the one who checked it. So, please pause to answer. Please pause to answer lang, ha.